Very good. Thank you so much, everybody who's in the room today. My name is Sarah Baldwin. I am the recruitment specialist for our workforce division here at Tri-C. So what that means in the easiest, most layman's of terms, I would say, is that I tell folks I'm the get you in the door lady. I help you get enrolled here in our programs. I do presentations and I talk about our programs, but I also help you with enrollment steps, figuring out your financial aid, all those sorts of things. That is my role here at Tri-C. And that is my role here in the workforce program. And today we are really excited to talk about our brand new utility technician program. We're super excited to start our first class this fall. And with us today is Dean Ray. He is going to introduce himself in a moment. And then what we're going to do is Dean Ray is going to talk about the program and explain a little bit about what you can expect out of the classes, what you can expect to learn, and sort of the outcomes that you might be looking at, what kind of jobs you would do in the field, and that sort of thing. And then we're going to wrap up at the end. If anyone in the audience wants to ask Dean Ray or myself any questions, we'll do a quick Q&A, and then we'll wrap on up. So again, thank you so much for being here, and I'm going to turn it over to Dean Ray.
Good morning. I'm Ray Najafat. I'm the Dean of Advanced Manufacturing and Engineering. Welcome to this program. As Sarah mentioned, if you have any question that it is a kind of bubbling in your head, you're not sure exactly what's going on, please just go ahead and ask it, and we try to get you the answer as quickly as possible, or I already have the answer and I probably can give it to you. So I'd like to kind of step back and talk about the program. Why this program? Why is it new? Why are we kind of looking at this program as a whole versus anything else? And what is the validity of the students that come out of this program, where they go, what they can do, what are the different applications that they're going to learn, what are the different companies that they're going to be able to hire these students that graduate either at the certificate level or associate level. So to give you some history, we've been involved with actually utility programs probably about 15 to 20 years. We've been training all the people that work for companies like First Energy probably for last 20 years. With exception of last 3 years that the company decided they're gonna go internal with apprenticeship program, we always trained all their people. So that was because of our experience with those kind of work, State of Ohio actually has approached us to be one of very few colleges that puts a utility tech program together, and they probably visited about 15 different colleges across Ohio trying to do that. And we were the one who were chosen to kind of help out. And the reason for it is that they're spending close to $700 million to make sure that the energy and also 5G networking and every other potential need for the different manufacturers and different companies are available across Ohio, not just in the large cities, but all across Ohio. It happened that this particular program, it can be used for electric companies, it can be used for water, sewer, gas line, fiber optic, and also you guys may have heard of even fracking for oil companies. So they're going to use the same type of equipment in order to be able to do what they want to do. So some of the program highlights, which Sarah's been nice enough to put together, and it has been set up here, is we're the designated trainee location for the 16 county. That's what it is normally known as Northeast Ohio. So there are only 6 nodes going to be in state of Ohio. We are the second node standing up and doing this job. And in the Northeast Ohio, there is no other school to finalize and finish this program. For the moment, in Northeast Ohio, in the eastern part of Ohio, in the southern part of Ohio. It is only Tri-C that provides this kind of training. And as Sarah mentioned, we actually are starting the classes this fall. So this training includes some stuff like construction orientation, construction print reading. And when we're talking about construction, we're not just talking about buildings. We're talking about actually being able to take a look at the map and recognize what is going on, if there is any if there is pockets of water under the ground, if there are different things under the ground, and be able to kind of use that knowledge for your job. You get construction safety training. You get the OSHA 30. You take a look at utility locating, how to locate the utility lines. All of us know that there is water underground, there is sewer underground, there is multiple different fiber optic, there is multiple different gas lines, so on and so forth. And as somebody who works, you definitely don't want to damage any of those. Most of you guys heard about 811. They used to be known as OOPS, but they have changed their name. They're not using that. They actually also help out for locating those locations, but you also learn as a student how to use different type of equipment in the localized area to be able to help you out what to do, what not to do, or if there are any problems. You take a look at, you also learn about telecommunication systems. You learn about fiber optic. You learn about splicing, how to connect to a fiber optic, how to extend the fiber optic. We're talking about different kind of electrical concept. You're not going to be an electrician, but you will know what to do and what not to do when you are in a situation using electricity or working with electricity. You will learn how to use equipment and operations. You guys probably heard of horizontal drilling. That's probably going to be one of the tools that you get proficient at to be able to actually do horizontal drilling. You learn how to use, smaller backhoes and skid steer and all kinds of different equipment that you may see in different types of, construction situations. So those are all the stuff that, you learn along with the all safety aspects of it. Up front, I apologize. Sarah has this very organized as far as program highlights, program cost, earning potentials, and job duties and stuff like that. I'm just too excited. I got to go from A to Z, Z back to A. So I do apologize for that. If you see the different sets of information goes from column A to column D and back and forth. But those are the things I think they're very connected. And when I like to talk about it, I like to kind of connect them rather than just talk about it in a silo. So if you have any questions at the end or even in the middle, you can stop me and I'll be more than happy to kind of answer those questions. So you learn about underground facilities and how to construct those. A lot of you guys might have heard, or maybe seen companies like gas companies, water companies, sewer companies to kind of work around your neighborhood. Additionally, think about this is a growing field. We just had 5 tornadoes in Northeast Ohio, and a lot of people were out of electricity and all of other amenities that we're used to, probably anywhere from a couple hours all the way to 10 days. So those are all the stuff that actually helps this field even further grow, because if all the utilities were underground, we wouldn't have to worry about losing electricity, gas, so on and so forth. Of course, there is always a cost factor. If you guys take a look at any new development, everything happens underground. That includes your electricity, your fiber optic, your phone lines, anything that goes along with it. That's all happens under the ground. So that's the opportunity that everybody is looking for and going after because of the fact that it is safer, it is better, and it help out the community as well. Uh, so some of the other stuff that we are going to cover, you have the opportunity to either get a 1 year certification, which includes some of the classes I mentioned, some of the hands-on, and you can actually get a job with those. We offer co-op during summer, and you also get your associate degree if you desire so. And that associate degree follows up with additional information and knowledge on gas pipeline system, water and waste sewer systems to be able to get you more educated, more equipment training, and also underground constructions. What is happening when you do that? What are the safe ways to approach a job like that? And you get a little bit of like fundamentals of speech and being able to actually learn how to write the reports and stuff like that. Because no matter what, as people who work for different companies, we always have to sometimes make a report. You may work with a neighbor, somebody in the neighborhood, so you have to be able to communicate with them, so on and so forth. There is a little bit of math involved. It is not calculus based. The max you're going to get here is algebra. And that is necessary to be able to actually maybe make some simple calculations and figure out the angles, this and that, in order to be able to do your job. So those are some of the stuff that I think anybody who gets in this kind of field should know. As far as the jobs, I think as far as I'm concerned, it's all honestly is very, very unlimited. You can work for the contractors that actually put all the utility lines, including fiber optic, uh, electricity, gas lines, electric lines, water lines. You may be able to get jobs with them very easily. Other areas, it would be actually working for municipalities that they have their own water, gas line, and they do their own stuff. You can get jobs with them. As I mentioned, same tools is used in the oil industry for fracking. So if you ever decide to go down to Texas and work in the oil field, you probably have the knowledge to do that. The drilling, regardless of horizontally or vertically, it is similar, but the difference is the technology and how it happens. You can actually, as I mentioned, fracking, you can be in one location, but you can start drilling in 5 different directions. Sometimes as long as a mile, mile and a half. So those are some of the stuff that you learn how to use those kind of uh, information and how to do what you need to do. So the salaries, 60K is average salary, but that's normally put in place without any kind of overtime. That's something that normally a lot of the data and information that you see from the federal government or from any other institution, they never include the overtime. And to be honest with you, in many cases, overtime is always available and it is up to you, you want to take it or not. And that could easily raise up that to much higher levels. So we're talking about somewhere around $28 to $30 for somebody who went through the 2 year degree and has all the knowledge. But that easily at time and a half could turn up to be $45 an hour. So as you can see, it would add up. And I can tell you, as somebody who actually worked in the industry, as a machinist, as a welder, as an operator, sometimes those overtimes actually expand money very fast and quickly. So keep that in mind. That is, but often the overtime is completely up to the employee rather than the employer. Most employers, they have that as an option if you want to work or not. Sometimes they work it on the like extra hours in a day instead of 8 to maybe working 10 hours. Sometimes they extended that, okay, we have all the 8 hours, now let's work on Saturday, and if you're interested or not. And depends on your lifestyle and what it is important to you, you can either take or leave it. But that is some areas that actually it will help out if the cost and the price and also the salary is important to you. So we talk about safe work practices. Obviously, anybody that goes through this program gets OSHA 30. OSHA 30 is 30 hours of industry training that goes through all kinds of different things. You also go through confined space, the requirement for flagging, if you have to end up to work on the road or something like that, how to line up everything to make sure there is a safe environment. It's also include, like overhead. Um, if you're working in an area that actually the electricity is above you, how to handle it, what to do that. You guys may or may not have seen, sometimes you travel on the highway, and if there is something going on, there is actually a sign that says power line above. So there are particular uh, safety requirements that you pay attention to in order to make sure you are safe. And that's at most important thing, to make sure that you are safe while you're doing this. You guys, anybody that gets into this program eventually has the potential and opportunity to be able to actually work with a heavy equipment, get a CDL license in order to be able to carry those equipments around. And it has multiple facets, opportunities to get work in multiple different areas. Obviously, like everything else, problems come about, and expectation is that some of those problems get solved. And that's where the analytic problem solving. But all those comes as you learn every little detail and every little course that's been put together, because all the classes, they build on top of each other. So you will not be expected the first day to know everything. You start slow and at the bottom and move your way up in the classes. That's what you got. The first classes for the first semester include construction orientation. So on top of that, it builds construction print reading to be able to actually take a look at things and do that. Then you got construction safety. The construction safety is include all other industry safety aspect that it is important for you to know. And it gives you OSHA 30 on that. Then utility locating and traffic flagging. So that's basically what are the different processes you have to go through to make sure everything is identified before you even start the work. Telecommunication system, that includes your fiber optic splicing and anything else that you need to know, both in the telecommunicating with the other workers in the area and also different systems that it allows the telecommunication happens right now. Most of us using cell phones right now, which it basically gets the information from different towers. But all those towers get their information underground through fiber optic systems, and fiber optic is the one that carries all the information. And you may say, well, there are a lot of other ones that they can carry information. Fiber optic uses light. Light, to best of our knowledge, is the fastest thing that can happen. There is nothing faster than the speed of light. So that's why fiber optic is probably the most important part of the communication system. So you guys learn about that. You're also going to learn about electrical concept. This is electrical class for non-electrical people. So if you have background in the electricity, if you know AC, if you know DC, that makes it a lot easier. But this class goes over all kinds of different sensors, and the equipment that you use also have sensors in them in order to be able to direct them to go to the right location. And be able to do that, because underground, doesn't matter how much you want to think about it, there's always areas that you don't see, and there's surprises all over the place. It could be me just dug a hole and put a pole in there that nobody knows, right? So the sensors actually sense those and give you feedback on the monitor that you are actually working with. So you learn about sensors, how the sensors work, how do they, do different things. And as far as when it comes to equipment operation, you're talking about backhoe, you're talking about small, like a dozer type machines that you can use. You also talk about horizontal drilling equipment, all kinds of different things that you may or may not use. And maybe the question is, why do we even need horizontal drilling versus just dig this stuff, put the line in, and call it a day? You're right, that's probably the cheapest one, and you may be able to do that if you're working in a very rural area. But think about if the gas line, the power line, the electric line is on one side of the street, and you need to actually carry that utility all the way to the other side of the street. So that's when your horizontal drilling comes in play without disturbing the road and stopping people from actually using the road and using the street, highway, or whatever it is. Think about if you're crossing railroad. You don't want to just cut through the railroad in order to be able to do that. So you learn different methodology, and the companies that you guys work based on the cost and the requirement, they would basically choose what is the best method. You guys going to also use equipment like, cranes that you actually going to be in it, be able to go up and down and do what you need to do on the higher level if you need to work on the pole or something like that. So you learn all kinds of different equipment to be able to handle that. I think I explained most of this stuff. Maybe I open it up either to any of my coworkers as to ask questions that I might have missed, because sometimes I get excited and I miss things. I'm passionate about this. But at the same time, if any of people like Donald or others that Corey, that if you guys have any question as somebody who consider this as a field of interest, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. So let's first go to my colleagues and make sure I did cover enough of everything.
Yeah, Ray, I think this was really thorough. Thank you so much for explaining all. You are the subject matter expert here, so thank you so much for explaining all that to us. That really even helped me understand even more as we're getting this program going. I do want to note, and I had that up on the slide, that for this first year, just for this first cohort of folks joining us, we are offering full scholarships to those who qualify. So that means that you would be fully scholarshiped for the first year. So I just want to explain too, because I say I'm always about onboarding and helping you get enrolled. So what I can do for you, I'm planning, if it's okay, James, Donald, and Corey and I have been speaking, but I would like to give you a call after this call, either right after or later on today, to talk to you about onboarding and maybe get some more nuanced information about you and how I can serve you going forward. But basically, it's very simple. If you're interested and you want to get going in this program this fall, you would just go online to try-c.edu. You would go on the Getting Started link at the top of the page, and you would basically do an application, and you would just sign up as a non-credit student for this first semester. You just apply as non-credit. And then once you've done that and you're active in the system, you'll be working with me. You'll get a student number, or if you've already attended Tri-C, you'll get a student number reactivated, the one you've had previously. Once you're active in the system, between myself and Ms. Cox, Wendy Cox here, who's on the call, we will work to get you enrolled in your classes as well as work with you on the scholarshiping steps. And then we would just really go from there. It's a pretty simple process for this first cohort. I'm here to serve you again and help you with that process. So it's not something you need to figure out yourself. We would be more than happy to help you just walk through that. So that's not something that you need to be concerned about. What Star asked, that's a good question. What are the hours for the classes? I can tell you that there's a mix of online and in-person classes. So if I can, Ray, do you want to speak to that for a moment? And then I'm going to see if I can find the breakdown that was.
I guess yes and no. I don't remember all the classes off the top of my head, but you're 100% correct. We have tried to make all the classes as much as possible only in 2 days. I know probably construction orientation and construction print reading is online. So, and I do believe that gentleman that teaches the construction print reading normally get all their students the first weeks together to make sure they know how to use the software. And the software is available to our students as soon as they become students for free. So they can actually use that for a period of 1 year in order to be able to do that as well. So it would be necessary some type of having access to a computer. And if you don't, as a student, you can always, we can take a look and see how we can help out. There are potentials, available. So for the first semester, most of the classes are either in person or online, as you mentioned. Some of them are 8-week classes like telecommunication system and utility locating, traffic flagging. Both of those are on the second 8 weeks. More than likely in the evening after 5 o'clock. The utility flagging, I think it is maybe in the early afternoon, and then after that, right away the telecommunication starts. So we've been trying not to bring students here every single day because we know some of them may have other opportunities and they want to work or they want to do different things. So that's what we try to do that. And also, I think construction safety is probably early afternoon. I think Wendy's actually double checking everything that I say because I'm talking off the top of my head, but she's actually looking at the paper, make sure I'm not making a mistake, and thank you for that. So I think the only class, and most of these classes, they start 14 weeks, so they don't start until I think September 9th, if
That's
I'm not
correct,
making a
September
mistake.
9th. Yeah, September 9th.
However, the electrical concept that we were talking about, that one starts right on August 26th. Now, if that doesn't work with your lifestyle, we can figure something around it and offer you that class on the second semester. But we would prefer, if it is possible, to get you in and get you out so you get out of here and start working as quickly as possible. I hope that gives enough information.
Yes, and folks that are on the call that are interested in getting started, when I contact you after this meeting, I'll have something I can email you that just lays out the schedule for the first semester so you can review it. And I'll include that when we go back in and edit this recording. But thank you. That was a really good question, Star. Thank you. Also, I've got to kind of piggyback off of that, Ray. Could a student come part-time or should they come full-time this first semester?
I mean, they certainly can do part-time. it is nothing to say that they're not allowed or they cannot. We build the program in a way that students can, attend part-time or full-time. But if the final outcome is to actually get a job and be able to have summer internship, if even if they want to go for the 2-year degree rather than just the certification, I would suggest the full time is the best way. We're not talking about a huge amount of hours and credit hours. You're talking about 6 classes is for the first semester, 5 classes for the second semester. The classes build up on each other. So sometimes we often offer most classes every semester, but not every class. So that could kind of like push them back, but they definitely can do part time. They just have to stay connected both with you as a front face and me on the back end to make sure they're still staying, as close as possible to finalizing and getting out of this program successfully.
Thank you. That's really helpful. Thank you, Ray.
Sure.
I don't think that I have any other questions. I just want to add on, to anyone that's watching this recording that might be a female viewer, that might be a woman and wonders, could I do this work? And absolutely. This is something that has come up a couple times. People are like, oh, I'd be interested. I said, absolutely, you should pursue this. Would be a great line of work for women as well. I just want to note that. Now I would like to open it up to the audience, our James, Donald, and Corey. Do you have any questions while we have everybody here on the call that, you would like to get answered that weren't answered previously? Let me see. I think that you have the ability to talk and unmute yourselves, but I want to make sure. So I'm going to go in and look here.
I know I have the ability to unmute. So as far as questions, I really don't have any. It's pretty laid out. I really like how this program was presented. This was really, really, really well laid out. So thank you for that. And then when we talk more, when you give a call, if I have anything, I'll ask then.
Thank you, James. Corey, Donald, don't be shy. It's your chance to ask any question that you want, good, bad, or ugly.
How long is the actual program?
For the certification is 1 year. For obviously associate degree, it would be 2 years. And that is also built a co-op during the summer. We obviously help out with different companies in the area for job placement as well. 6 classes in the first semester, which starts shortly, August 26th, and go until I think December 7th. And then you're going to start your equipment, area construction, underground construction, advanced construction safety for bucket trucks, confined space, excavation, and also construction methods. It happens in the second semester. And you actually get the opportunity to work, with the equipment. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
Ray,
Cece, you get, yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to follow up with that because that was helpful. For the 1-year certificate, could be an option for a student to get that and start working and then go part-time for the second year, or what could happen after the 1 year?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, and I probably should have answered it during my presentation. So thank you. That's why I was asking my colleagues, what did I miss? And the answer is yes and yes. And that's why we have put this program together, because we certainly, as Cuyahoga Community College, we certainly believe life happens. Different things happens for different reasons. So we have created this opportunity that someone can just go and work after the first year, or can come back and get their associate degree. But the answer is yes. After the first year, they have enough knowledge, information, and capabilities to be able to easily get a job. And if they decide they want to even enhance it further and go to the work at a higher level, they can continue and finish the 2-year degree. And thank you for that question. Great question.
And Sarah, I see a question in the chat.
Yeah,
from
I was just gonna say, Ray, can you share more details about the hands-on element of the program, and will students get underground experience?
So underground experience, I guess I'm not sure what does that mean, but when we're talking about the equipment, some of you may have heard companies like Ditch Witch, which is basically make equipment for horizontal drilling, excavating. So those are all the hands-on we're talking about. We're actually gonna have equipment here. You're gonna have instructor gonna show you how to operate. You're gonna get in there, and we have probably 2 acres of land that we put aside for you to dig. So I'm not gonna let you dig every inches of it, but you're gonna be able to do different things, and that's where the hands-on come in play. So we're talking about real equipment. We're talking about real experience. And underground, I hope the question was about actually underground drilling and stuff like that. It is the confined space gonna get you ready, because some of the companies like AT&T, Verizon, they have areas that it's actually like a big, huge room built in certain areas that's under the ground, and all the wires comes in and all the wires goes out. So you learn how to operate in a confined space. That considered to be confined space, because you cannot just walk in and walk out. You have to actually climb up. So you learned all those in a theory and what you need to do. But as far as all the other hands-on, absolutely, everything is, is same equipment they use in the field. And
Excellent.
yeah, and you get to dig some ground on Tri-C's ground at Metro.
Well, I'm excited to see this program get started. Like you mentioned, after this past week, I hope everyone's power's back on at this point. Mine came over the weekend, and I can tell you, it really reminded me how important our utilities are, how vital they are. Just to, you take it for granted when everything's working right. So folks who work in the utilities are so important to our, society, and just moving forward. So this is important work. If you decide you wanted to pursue a job in this field and pursue training with us, you would be doing important work. And I think a really great career for yourself, but you're also helping other people by doing this. So does anyone else, before we wrap things up, does anyone else have something to add or any questions that they wanted to ask? Again, the folks that are our potential, students, I'm going to be following up with you today, and I'll be contacting you. And if not, we'll be wrapping this up. Does anyone else have anything to say or ask?
Actually, I had one question I just thought about. So you're going for the associates. Is there still, like, after that 1 year you get the certification, or is everything wrapped up at the end of the 2 years, as in that year in potentially like taking an apprenticeship with the company or something?
So, Corey, to answer you, after you get your first year, you can actually get a certification, and then you can continue. You can get the certification, you can do the co-op with a company, and then also continue. Just to give you a little bit of background in some of the other programs that we have, as the programs has grown, we actually have managed to do what we call earn and learn. It's not available for this program, but it definitely something that we will pursue in the future, which it means you work for a company for 3 days and come to school for 2 days in order to be able to actually get your degree, and it kind of help you out. But for right now, we got the 1-year certification, and you will get a certification for that, and you can continue to get your associate degree. So we kind of normally help our student and remind them, because it is a petition. You got to actually petition, hey, give me my certificate or give me my associate degree, and then it goes through the process. They check, make sure that you took all the classes, appropriate classes, you pass all the classes. But the short answer is yes. Yes, you definitely get that. You can go for a co-op, you can come back for the associate degree, and you may also choose, after working for that company, they may hold on to you and don't let you go back to school, and you may do it part-time or whatever in order to get your associate degree. I hope that answered your question.
All right.
Because I wanted to go for the associates, but I do want to be able to have that certificate in the middle. So, Sarah, we'll talk about that when we call on how that's going to go. Thank you.
Absolutely. Now, Corey has a question. Corey, do you want to go ahead?
I
Your
mean, we
mic's-
see your hands up. That's why Sarah's asking. You can
Uh,
just click on a hand and it goes away. I mean, in the bottom, if you want to.
Well, there we go. You're unmuted, Corey. If you're not able to talk, you can always put it in the chat too, or like I said, I'll call you after this. So if you're not able to express what you wanted to say, then we can follow up in the call, and I can get it to Dean Ray too. Okay. All right, Corey's lowered his hand, so I'll connect with him afterwards. Does anyone else have anything? Otherwise, we'll wrap this on up. And like I said, this is recorded, so this will be sent to you to listen to again, or to review with other folks, you know, in your family, or other people important in your life while you make this decision to potentially attend this great program. So do you have anything else to say, Dean Ray? Otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up. All right, I guess that's a no. Okay, well, thank you everybody for coming today. We truly appreciate it. And again, I will be connecting with those of you afterwards, and we'll be following up, and hopefully you'll be starting with us this fall. So thanks again for being here. And with that, I'm going to end the recording in the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.